I wasn't even planning on filming this video, but sometimes life throws you a story that you just can't leave in the past. It all started like any other day. I went to a dealership to buy a car. At first glance, the car looked great. The dealer assured me the car had passed inspection and everything was fine. And you know what? I believed him. At that point, nothing seemed suspicious. I signed the paperwork, grabbed the keys, and headed out.
But a few days later, something happened that I didn't expect at all.
It was just a normal day. I was driving down the highway. Nothing special. Music, the road. And then suddenly...
3 King 3, vehicle fire. 3 vehicle fire, I-94 northbound milepost 14. I-94 northbound milepost 14. Vehicle on the right shoulder, vehicle on the right shoulder.
First I heard a hum and a strong smell. I stopped. I first thought it might be from the city. But when I opened the hood, there was fire in the engine compartment.
In moments like these, time seems to slow down. You just watch and you can't believe that this is actually happening. A new car, 1 month after buying it, and it's sitting on the shoulder in smoke?
I called 911, texted the dealer, and then the story started to pick up steam.
At first, everything looked normal. They said, "We'll take care of it." I thought, okay. But then the waiting began.
A month went by, then another, a third, a fourth. This story is starting to drag on. Phone calls, text messages, and waiting. And they always have the same answer.
And then I get a message. They want me to pay $8,000 for repairs on a car I had just bought a month ago.
At one point, I realized one simple thing. This is no longer just a story about a car. It's a story about how the system works. That's why I decided to document this story, because sometimes the only way to find the truth is to show everything exactly as it is. I bought this vehicle on October 27th. It was a 2021 Ford F-150. At the time, it seemed like a perfectly normal purchase. Nothing suspicious. The truck looked good. Clean history. The dealer assured me it was fully inspected and ready to go. I saw no reason to doubt them. It was supposed to be just another reliable truck for daily use. The first few days after buying it were fine. I was just getting used to it, testing features, checking the options, seeing how it all worked. It's a standard process. You want to understand your new vehicle, get a feel for it, and that's when I noticed the first problem. The F-150 has 120-volt outlets right in the cabin. That's a handy feature. You can plug in devices, charge gear, work right from the truck. I decided to see how it worked. I plugged something in and nothing. Tried again. Still nothing. I checked the other outlet. Same result. At first, I thought maybe I was doing something wrong. I checked settings, tried different things, other devices, but the answer was the same. The outlets just didn't work. And that's when I first felt like something was wrong. For a truck just bought from a dealer, this seemed strange to say the least. This isn't an old car or a private sale, it's a dealer with inspections and a warranty. So on October 30th, I messaged the dealer. I clearly stated the issue, the 120-volt outlets aren't working. At the time, I didn't make a big deal out of it. I figured it was a minor thing. I was sure they'd just book a service, check it quickly, and fix it. But the problems didn't stop there. The very next day, I started noticing something else, and this time it was much more serious. When the truck started to slow down, the transmission acted very strangely. Instead of a smooth gear shift, there was a sharp jolt. It felt like the gearbox was just slamming into a lower gear. The truck literally jerked. It wasn't subtle, it was very noticeable. I started paying more and more attention to it. Every time I braked, there was that jolt again and again. And at that point, it was clear this wasn't just some minor technical glitch. For a vehicle bought just a few days ago, this behavior is completely abnormal. So on October 31st, I messaged the dealer again. This time, I detailed the transmission issue, explaining the hard downshifts while slowing down, and that it seemed like a major fault. So the dealer got word of two different issues just a few days after the car was bought, and that's an important point. This didn't happen months later, it didn't happen years later. It happened almost immediately after the purchase. After that, they suggested I bring the car in for service. We scheduled an appointment for November 10th. On the scheduled day, I brought the car to the dealer. The car stayed at the service center for a few days. I was waiting for the diagnostic results, expecting them to find the cause and fix it quickly. After a while, they told me they'd ordered the necessary part, but added right away that delivery could take about a month. This was already looking less simple than I first thought. But at the same time, they returned the car to me. At that point, no actual repairs had been done. I continued to use the car. I tried not to jump to conclusions. I thought it was just a technical issue that would be resolved once the part arrived, that it was just a delay and nothing more. But about a month after the purchase, something happened that I didn't expect at all. It was evening, around 6:30. I was driving down the road as usual, nothing suggested any problems, and suddenly I heard a loud hum. It wasn't a normal engine sound. It was a dull, unnatural noise that immediately caught my attention. And almost immediately after that, there was a smell. Sharp, acrid, unpleasant. It was the kind of smell you just can't ignore. You realize right away that something is wrong. At that moment, I had no doubt. Something serious was happening with the car. I immediately decided to stop. I pulled over to the side of the road to check what was going on. My heart had already started beating faster. Adrenaline, tension. I got out of the car and walked up to the hood. I opened it, and what I saw was definitely not what I expected to see. Flames! There was fire right in the engine compartment. This was no longer just a technical problem, it was now a dangerous situation. In moments like these, there's no time to think, you have to act fast. I called the police immediately. It was the only right thing to do in that situation. After this incident, the car was towed and sent back to the Napleton Lincoln dealership. At that point, the dealer confirmed that there had indeed been a fire incident, and that they would conduct a full inspection of the car to determine the cause. And from that very moment, this story stopped being just a story about buying a car. It became something much bigger. A I'll show you all the correspondence with the dealer, the communication history, and screenshots of the chats. You'll see how their responses changed. How one management team said they'd repair the car, but after a management change and 4 months of waiting, they just sent me a bill. I'll also show you the documents and complaints I sent to the consumer protection agencies in the state of Illinois. And believe me, it's only going to get more interesting